Welcome here to Hope Village for this live celebration. We're going digital this year for the Hope Village annual celebration. Alongside me, Chad McComas, Executive Director, Rogue Retreat. My name is Christopher Janish. Chad, so we have a lot of stuff going on today, and we're going to tell people about a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely.
We have the Peace Pole auction. We have people in costumes, all kinds of fun. Cakewalk going to happen right over here. We have food. But Chad, talk a little bit about 3 years ago on this day when this happened.
I'll tell you that I've been thinking about that all day. I was out here earlier today and just taking a walk around and thinking about how gracious this whole experience has been. And of course, I'm a believer in God, and I think God has given us this village to be able to serve people. 3 years ago today, we opened the doors. We had 14 little houses, and it was a big deal for those first 14 people that were going to get into those houses. It was something brand new. The city was a little concerned. Was it going to be a good thing or not be a good thing? You know, time would tell. Of course, here we are 3 years later, and now we're not 14, we're 34 little houses. And we've already been given the green light by the city to have another village somewhere. So it absolutely is working. We've got tremendous stories. I think, Chris, you've got a couple of stories we're going to share today. Some success stories. Am I right on that?
Yep, we're going to hear from two former participants that have moved on and are doing really well now.
And that's what it's all about. You know, it's not about, let's just get the homeless off the streets. It's let's give the people a place to be that's not only safe, but it's a place where they can take a breath. They can lock their stuff behind a locked door. They can take showers. They can take care of their food needs. And then they can go back out into society. They can get jobs. They can start working with other people and building community again. It's just amazing to watch the process.
Definitely. I always say Rogue Retreat's so much more than housing. It's everything around it as well. And we talked to Joe a little bit about that, about the community around it and the community here at Hope Village. And it's so important that there is a community here. Everyone has jobs here and roles that they play. And I think that's a big part of it.
It is. People... when we get into an addictive lifestyle or mental health issues or now we're homeless, we get isolated from the rest of society. And that isolation kills. It literally does. And when you get pulled apart where you're just thinking about how am I going to survive today, you forget to think about other people. But when they get into the village like this, they start thinking, oh my goodness, we're part of a bigger picture. We're now a community. And so now we create meals together. We clean up after each other. We care about each other. We support each other. If anything, probably a downside to Hope Village is that they get so connected and so attached that when they have to move on, it's heartbreaking sometimes. Mm-hmm. This is only meant to be a short-term pass-through, but the people build communities so fast. It's just amazing to watch that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of that community, we're going to hear from Joe Noriega now. And when we come back from this, we'll talk a little bit more about Rogue Retreat and what it is as a whole. So without anything else, we'll hear from Joe.
My name's Joe Noriega. I'm 52 years of age. I used to live on the Greenway. I used to live in a creek. Used to use drugs and had no ID in those days. And one day I got a visit from a guy who wanted to share drugs with me, and he did. He felt comfortable around me, and he told me that the only time he could use was when his kid was playing baseball. He had an 11-year-old kid playing ball, and he was down at the creek with me. At that very moment, I heard the clink of a bat. And I said, you hear that sound? That's your son getting a hit. He's rounding first base right now and looking up in the stands, and he sees you not there. I said, bounce, or I'm going to get violent with you. I'd have missed that chance. My kid's already 6'4". Your kid's 11. Go down there, spend time with him. Because the kid's looking up right now and he sees you not there. And the guy had the shocked look in his face, like I was right. Because the field I was pointing to where that click came from was where his kid was playing. The kid got out of there. He got out of there quick. And I thought to myself, I got to get an ID. I have to get out of this life. And so began my upward progress. I had to stop using. If I didn't, I would always be sucked back in that slippery slope. So I got out of there, went to the mission, got a job, and worked my way up to an Oxford house, and had some kind of roommate situations going that were kind of loose, and so I stayed in the loop here. I was going to be one of the original people to be in here, but I thought, you know what? Let people take cuts on me because I know my time's coming when I'm really going to need this place. And after about 6 or 7 months, I really needed this place. I needed to get out of Eagle Point, get closer to work. I maintained my job at Harry and David. After I got at the Mission Inn, I've been there about 4 years now. The Mission, the shelter place. But I stayed true to being drug free, and I couldn't give up cigarettes, so that was tough. I worked on that. Finally got that done about 2 years ago. But I knew I'd need this place and in the future, and sure enough, I did. And when I finally got in here, I still had no ID, or I had an ID, but I had no car and no driver's license. And I moved into this place right here. I called this place home for over a year. And about 6 to 8 months into this place, I remember walking out one day with my towel and my grooming kit, heading for those showers, and looking out and seeing trucks on the street, going, wow, I live next to this busy street. And I thought to myself, wow, it's kind of nice. Maybe I should not think so short term and think, okay, I'm glad this place was here. I followed the rules, stuck to the rules, was open to a drug test anytime. Some of the street people that came in here with just a little clean time were complaining that I didn't get tested as much as they did, and they said, if we test Joe, we're wasting a test. We test you because for a reason. We don't test Joe. We look at Joe and we watch his behaviors, and he says anytime, and we know he's there anytime. But by paying less rent here and by maintaining a job and getting some savings, some people even give the money to Charlie to hold for them because they don't trust themselves. But it let me build up my money, build up and have a safe place to charge my phone and all that. We didn't have the chargers yet. We didn't have the buttons on the doors. That's new. That's kind of cool. I like to have the buttons on the doors here. But I stayed up here and I built up a savings, and I got my driver's license, and I got my car. That was huge because I went through so many winters going to Harry and David. But I have to say something. I saw people come and go. I saw people come, take advantage of this, get their life together, get their savings, and then move on. It was the day to day. Other people come in and complain about things. You knew the complainers weren't going to last. I thought, you just came from under a bridge. Now you're here and you're going to complain? I thought to myself, odds are that person's not going to make it. And I would say, look, I would try to point out, look at the benefits we have here. Just follow the rules, save up your money, be here for as long as you can, keep saving, keep praying, keep hoping. And when you're ready to make the move, you can. When I got here, there was one of the originals that was still left. And he was the last one, and he said, I got to go. And when I left here, I had been here the longest. There was a couple people been here over a year. But it really, part of this opportunity is you still have to take the steps yourself. I was just talking to Chris saying, you can take a step through the door and look inside while leaving 60% of your weight on the back foot. So many people take the first step, and I'm not really into first steps. I hope that guy on the baseball field did more than take a first step toward his son and was attending every one of his baseball games, maybe even taking pictures with his phone and congratulating his son on getting a hit, taking him out for pizza and doing whatever with him. That really woke me up, when I was down there. And, I remember giving away my really nice tent to a guy, and something said, Joe, you're not going back. I gave it away. I gave away tools. I had gloves. I had clippers. I had little rakes for making spots, cardboard stashed. And I gave it away to this guy. I said, look, the tent's yours. He was very thankful. And I said, just live in that nice tent until you can move out. But I never looked back. If I use a tent these days, it'll be because I'm camping somewhere. But now I'm doing great. We're still working at Harry and David. I've maintained employment there for 4 years. Just got a raise. I've got money in the bank. And I'm very happy, and instrumental in getting there was the year I spent here, but also instrumental was my following the rules. I never had a complaint. Sometimes people would wake me up early in the morning when they'd be down the smoking section talking, but that was okay. They didn't realize that some people worked graveyards and swings and were sleeping still at 10 a.m. But this place was home to me for so long that I didn't want to become too content with it and then just hang out here for a long time. My record has been broke, by the way. There were 2 people who broke my record and been here longer, but there were special circumstances in that. Anyway, that's pretty much my story. I'm still doing great. Right now I have a roommate in a place, and I have money in the bank. I've got a couple grand saved up in the bank. My rent's paid for this month, and I have my car paid off. My rent's paid, all bills are paid, and I have $2,000 in the bank. That, a couple years ago, I would have thought that would have been a dream. That wouldn't even been a reality. No driver's license, no car, and no money in the bank. Pretty much what I did in my past. But I've been out for quite some time now. I think it's been a year. Sure. It was March of this year, possibly March of last year. We'd have to look up the records, but anyway, so that's pretty much my story in a nutshell. This was my unit for a year. It's kind of like looking at my old home here. It's kind of brings me back, like being next to this tree and stuff like that. And I used to park outside there and come in the back gate. But yeah, I'm really grateful to see that they've even expanded to more units. They even got a little trailer down there. The bike rack's still there. And so yeah, it's doing good. It's a success story here. Maybe someday when they're doing back to groups, I'll come speak to the whole Rogue Valley group, and just tell them to hang in there, keep saving. And if you have to, leave the money. If you can't get a savings account, or if you're tempted to spend your money, leave it in the safe with Charlie, and have it be on your weekly accomplishment, your goals, that you're going to give Charlie $100, every week, and then that way you meet your goal. And one of your goals is taken care of, and you just watch your money grow like a tree. And then I was here for so long, the savings that was accumulated here too. Pastor Chad cut me a check for $1,061, $1,060. I'd been here so long and I'd been paying the maximum amount of monthly, that a portion of that was going into savings. So, and I used that for my first last, to help me with my first last deposit on my rental when I moved out of here. This place makes a difference, and not only that, but we really get along with the community. We keep things clean, we keep things quiet. At first there was concern that there was going to be a problem in this neighborhood. This is actually, the neighbors have no complaints. They're like, you know what, these people are really, are really getting it together. And you know what, it isn't like somebody can take advantage of here. They have, the counselors meet with them weekly with established goals. About, it could be driver's license, car, it could be getting insurance, it could be, there's a list of things they want everybody to do. And then once somebody's accomplished all of their, getting your food stamp card, getting your savings, getting all that, a whole list of the basics are met. Then it's personal goals, could be savings, whatever, but it really gives people a chance to take the next step in life. And the people that come here that aren't really ready yet, they're spotted. They're seen. The counselors say, okay, well, we're going to put you on somewhere else, and give somebody else a chance. There's been lots of success stories that have come through here. A number of people that didn't stick with the program, but they ended up downgrading to a shelter or moving on. So the people that you see, the people that are here and that are sticking with the program, are going to have that huge advantage moving on. I'm no longer on the creek. I'm no longer on food stamps. I'm no longer on Oregon Health Plan. I have my insurance now through Harry and David. Getting a job is also big here with people getting jobs. So it relieves those funds for people who need it. Me moving out of Unit 25 opened it up for somebody else that can move in. But it really gives people a chance, especially with the season coming up, when we're going to have the flu, winter coming up. Is this place going to be really appreciated? But it helps those, and it's really it's not a flop house. There's programs, there's counselors, and there's weekly goals and requirements that the residents here meet, and to help them move on. And I don't know what the percentages of success rates they have. They keep a percentage, and we want to get that percentage up, of course. But the funding really makes a difference. It really makes a difference, not just in the lives of people who are moving on, but also in the resources that would go to others in need. The more people we can get to move on, the more resources will be available for those who are still trying to work their way up to this point. It really worked out, and then the timing's been great. The timing from one chapter to the next. It's important, though, to take that second step. Follow the program, stay drug-free, if you can, stop smoking cigarettes and wasting your money on fast food. Fast food's my remaining advice. But stick with the program and stay here long enough to turn your life around. And when you leave here, leave strong and don't.
Welcome back to our annual Hope Village celebration. This is the digital live stream. We just heard from Joe Noriega, who was just a great guy. I came here and I recorded that video with him, and we got here, we pulled in at the same time, and he said, "Hey, do you have a couple minutes?"
Yeah, I'm so glad
he grabbed the hose and started watering all the plants here. He doesn't live here anymore. That wasn't his job to do.
Still his village.
But exactly, he still has that sense of community.
Absolutely. I can remember the first time I met Joe, he was absolutely living on the streets. He had nothing going for him. Just a hopeless man. And then somehow we got him into Hope Village, and he just ran with it, and he got a job. I remember when he got his driver's license, he was so excited about that for about 2 weeks. Everybody he ran into, "You want to see my driver's license?" It was a big deal. Then he got a car, and then he was able to get his own apartment, and now he doesn't have to be here. That's the way it's supposed to work. And that's what Rogue Retreat's all about. You mentioned earlier, Chris, that really the secret sauce of our whole organization is our case management program. It's our 5 steps that we work people through, our 5 levels. And they're intended to take someone that's in crisis and move them on to thriving, so that they are no longer dependent on society to help them. They're now able to be self-sufficient, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly, and that's so important that we're not just providing a roof, that we're providing a community and a support system.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into that a little bit. Let's talk about the different programs that Rogue Retreat offers and what that support system looks like. And let's start at the bottom, at our entry level, which is the temporary urban campground.
Yes, and it is the entry level, and we have said for years that the society doesn't want to have the homeless living in parks and along the Greenway here in Medford, and we all get that. We don't either. So we needed to have a place where they could come. We could say you need to go away, but away is not a destination. You have to have a place they can go away to. So I was so excited when the Sheriff's Department, Nate Sickler, and our local police, when Scott Clausen, came to us and said, "We really want you to build a campground." And so we said, we're all over it. And back in July, we opened the urban campground. And we started out with 40 campsites. Today we're not 40, I'm sorry, 25. Now we're up to 40. I think we're kind of nudging close to 50 now. But we have at least 59 people in our campground right now.
Wow.
And then they come off the streets. The livability team has partnered with us. They're the ones that decide who gets to move in. And it's just been an amazing experience, because I was just out there this morning, and one of the guys says, "I love being here because my stuff isn't stolen from me. I'm not going to get beat up in the middle of the night. I can sleep through the night. And now I can get up," and he looked refreshed, and he looked like he was ready to take on a new day. He will be successful because he has that campground to come home to every night.
Absolutely. That campground, that core base level that we can just get people into when they can't get into something else.
It's not the Taj Mahal. I mean, good grief, they're sleeping in tents. They've got porta potties, but at least they got a porta potty. We've got garbage cans there. They can put their stuff in. We've got staff there 24 hours a day. We have meals brought in. So they've got what they need, the basic needs. We put them in a van and take them to places during the week so they can get showers, get some laundry done. They're doing really great. Then we bring resources in to connect with them and partner with them and try to get them into better living situations. I think we've already transferred 30 to 40 people out to something better. If we get a veteran in there, we connect them with Veteran Services. If we get somebody in there that has never signed up for HUD housing, we get them signed up for HUD housing, and we get them signed up for health insurance if they've never had that. Like Clinica comes once a week. It's just a great partnership with the community.
Absolutely. So one of the places that we transfer people to from the campground is the Kelly Shelter, and that's that next level up, a full-time, 24-hour, 365-day-a-year shelter.
And that shelter is such a blessing. In fact, we're celebrating our three-year anniversary here today for Hope Village. Well, next month, November, we're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary for the Kelly Shelter. And that's a big deal to us, because it was late November last year that we opened the doors to a 54-bed shelter that was going to be there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it has been an amazing experience. They're sleeping in bunk beds, but they have restrooms, and they have showers, and they have meals provided. They have a roof over their head. It's heated and it's cooled. They have case management full-time. It's an amazing place to be.
Absolutely, and I even, when I've talked to the participants there, they feel that same community. One of the guys I talked to said it was scary being in a facility with that many people and everyone in so close, and you're sharing a bunk and there's someone
Yep.
above you or there's someone
Yep.
below you and just people all around you. But he said that he felt that community and that everybody there at the Kelly shelter is friends and they get along and they build those social connections.
They do, and it doesn't take long to where they just really enjoy it, and they have a hard time thinking about ever leaving it. In fact, when an opening comes at Hope Village, we go back to the Kelly shelter and we try to identify who might be ready for that next step up. So this Hope Village that we're at today, this becomes like our third level. This is where you have some independence. You have your own little spot. It's an 8x10 little place, but you got a locking front door, you got your own windows, and you can leave here and go to work or do whatever you need to do during the day, but your stuff is safe. And you cook your own meals here, so you're no longer, that's one thing, Chris, I was really surprised. Sometimes I'll ask people, so how do you like Hope Village now that you've come from Kelly Shelter? Don't you like the Kelly Shelter better because they make your meals for you? And everybody says, no, I'd rather make my own meals. And that kind of blows me away. I'd like them to make it for me, But they want that independence where they can now start taking care of their own needs and not have somebody else do it. And so they're preparing themselves for leaving here and having their own place.
Absolutely. So then we've talked about the Kelly shelter, and now we've kind of touched on Hope Village as well. I think you've kind of described what it is. That's where we're at today. That's the third anniversary that we're celebrating here on Halloween. So kind of a double celebration. But it's been so big for Rogue Retreat to have this here, and so big for Medford to have this facility.
Hope Village changed everything for Rogue Retreat. Before we had Hope Village, we were kind of under the radar organization. We had apartments, and we had some that we owned ourselves. We had some that we worked with the Housing Authority, but we didn't say a whole lot because once they're filled, there's not a whole lot you can do. And so when we finally got Hope Village approved by City Council, and then we were able to open up, now all of a sudden we were in the limelight. And since we've opened Hope Village, we have absolutely exploded as an organization because now we've got 34 houses here, so we've got close to 40 people here in Hope Village. We have over 50 right now in the campground, and now we're opening up probably another shelter in Grants Pass soon. I just got word today that our Foundry Village in Grants Pass may actually start ground preparation in next month. So we're moving forward on that. That'll have 17 houses. So we are growing exponentially. We also have another village we're working with right now with the Addiction Recovery Center here in Medford. That's going to have 12 little houses. We're going to work with people that have addiction issues, and we're going to make sure they get the outpatient they need from the ARC. And we're just excited about helping people move forward.
Exactly, and that's so important. So after Hope Village, where do people go? What's our next level in our pyramid of housing options?
Well, sometimes a person does so well at Hope Village that they've now got a full-time job, they put some money away, and they can actually find an apartment in town. And that's what a lot of them end up going to, an apartment or moving with somebody else. And so that might be their exit right out of Hope Village. But some might move on into one of our apartments. So we have 2 levels of apartments. We have some that we personally own at Rogue Retreat, and they don't have any rental subsidies, so there's a full rent. And when they move in there, it's an affordable rent, but it's now their own apartment, so it's another level up where they're now responsible. They're building a rental history, and they're if they've had eviction issues in the past, they can start cleaning that up a little bit so that they can have a future when they move away from our apartments eventually. We also have some apartments that are in a partnership with the Housing Authority of Jackson County, and those have HUD subsidies. And so a person gets accepted on their list to move in there. They only pay 30% of their income for rent. So that makes it affordable, and they can start building that history there as well. We also have, which is kind of another level, and it doesn't fit here with Hope Village, but we have 5 recovery houses, and there were people that have been in recovery programs that need a safe place to live, can live together in this house. So that's a whole other program we're doing. We just have been blessed to be able to do so much.
Exactly. So that's kind of an overview of the different programs that we have here at Rogue Retreat. And so you can see behind us these peace poles. So we're going to take another break. We'll show you a slideshow of all these peace poles so you can get some good looks at them. There is a link that you can look at them on the website right below this video or above, depending on if you're on mobile or a desktop. But there's a link to look at the 32 auction site. These peace poles are being auctioned off, and we'll tell you more about that when we come back, and Crystal Perkins will be joining us.
That'd be great.
Welcome back here to the 3rd anniversary of Hope Village. Now Crystal Perkins and her whole family, the Simpsons, are joining me. And we're going to talk about these peace pools. So you just got to see all the peace pools, all the photos that we took. Crystal, tell people about this auction.
Yeah, so this auction is, it's turned out to be pretty amazing. We have some amazing talent here at Hope Village. It's just been shining everywhere. I think even just getting to do the project together has brought a lot of togetherness. In fact, that's what the participants have been reporting to us. So there's so much more meaning behind the peace pools than just, doing some coloring. It's meant a lot to them to be able to be a part of something, so special.
Absolutely. So the funds raised from this, where are those going?
So 25% of the funds are going to go to the artists themselves. And another big piece of this for the participants was that a lot of them actually came from the Kelly Shelter, directly off the streets into the Kelly Shelter, and oftentimes then here to Hope Village. And so the other 75% of the proceeds is going to create more bed space at the Kelly Shelter, which in its own just meant so much to so many of the people that they really wanted to participate. They wanted to give back. So
absolutely, and that fundraiser that we're doing, we'll give you more information about how we're raising funds for the Kelly Shelter and what that expansion entails and the deficit that we have there later in this live stream. But where do people need to go if they want to look at these peace pools?
So if you want to view or bid these peace pools, the auction link is on our Facebook page. You can find it on any one of our Facebook pages, actually. You can even find it on some of the news links with KTVL if you happen to look at our stories there.
Yep, and it's on the live stream as well. So it's either above or below, depending on what you're watching on.
Yeah.
But if you click the See More, you'll see a link there, and you can look at all the peace pools. And a lot of these are going for a good amount, which is great because it's helping expand the Kelly Shelter, and it's helping people. And
coming right into the holiday season, these participants are, they've been given a little opportunity to have a little extra cash on them, and that means a lot to them as well.
Absolutely. So check those out. We're going to now hear from Elizabeth Moel, who's a former participant here, who lived in Hope Village over here in house number 7. So we're going to hear from her, and then we'll be back with more people here and more guests. So we'll be back after this here at Hope Village.
Okay.
Hi there, my name is Elizabeth, and I started out with Rogue Retreat in 2018. Mine was a financial situation that I had to deal with. My father was having medical issues, and I lost a job at the same time, so I kind of went through a lot of stuff. I had medical issues myself, which I'm still dealing with today, but thank you for Rogue Retreat, who definitely helped me. I was homeless for about 3.5 months. Then, I ended up did what I needed to do to get myself into Rogue Retreat, and this is my little tiny home. I was in number 7, and I definitely appreciate all the help that they've given. If, like Pastor Chad says, if you do the right thing, things will happen correctly for you. And if you do the right thing, go through the process, things will happen in a positive manner for you. So I am very grateful and very appreciative. Time frame, I have to think here, because my father, I helped him. I went through issues with him that I had to deal with. In the meantime, I'm homeless and I'm staying in the hospital. I lost a job. I was helping him in the meantime, so it was just kind of a lot going on at that time in my life. I came here in November of 2018, yes. And then I stayed until once I got my feet on the ground, I got a job. I stayed until, I believe it was June of 2019. So I was introduced to Riverside. So I'm in an apartment at Riverside. I was able to be able to fund that. That's why I ended up there. So I'm kind of waiting for housing. Now it's kind of a situation with housing because of everything that's happened in the community. So I'm just doing my savings, like they said, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm just kind of waiting for housing at this point. So But it's amazing how everything with Rogue Retreat, oh my gosh, I cannot believe the expansion and the help that everybody can get. It's amazing. I've talked to a lot of different people in the store or wherever I'm at. It's like, do you know about Rogue Retreat? People have wanted to donate things. The thrift shop, I shop in there. I mean, a lot of these different avenues that we are able to the assistance that you can get from Rogue Retreat is amazing. The new expansion, the everything. It's an amazing I keep on saying amazing process, and just we're so very grateful. I usually donate as well. So if you donate, it goes to the homeless. It goes to this Hope Village. It goes to helping them, feed them, do what they need to do. They started the camp. I mean, it just keeps growing. Today I saw pictures of buildable homes. Very, very quickly, boom, it's up, and they can house people. It's a whole community to help with getting things going for the homeless in Medford. There shouldn't need to be homeless people here. There's so much help and support. It's amazing. The peer support, your counselors, anything you need, it's right here. I had no idea. I mean, my situation was a little bit different than most, which we're all here for different reasons, but there's so much outreach. To me, it's amazing. There is a lot, definitely. Having a counselor, it definitely helps, okay? They get you on track. They take you through the process to get to the next level, okay? And I've never had that, so that was interesting to me. It's like, oh, okay, so you do your process, you go on to the next phase. There's certain things that they require of you. It's accountability as well. And then peer support. If you need more than just your counselor, then you can go on to other aspects to help you with certain. If you have addiction issues, there's support there. There's many different levels of support. So, I mean, it's just amazing to me. It is. I just didn't realize how supportive everyone was, and everyone is here. And thank you, Chad, and everyone that started this whole program. It's amazing. So, and I talk more Rogue Retreat. If you need help, come to Rogue Retreat. That's what they're there for, to help you. To reach out to them. They'll help in however manner that they can, and there's no reason why you can't get help. Hope is that because there is outreach. If you are willing to go and get the help that you need through Rogue Retreat, that will help you. They will help you do what you need to do. So they have to have hope that it will work this time. Okay, you do the next right thing. The hope is there, and they have to be encouraged. So I do encourage them as well. The ones that I do come across, definitely, because there are still homeless people that I deal with where I work. So, you just have to give them encouragement. Say, you can do this. There is hope, and you can do this. Well, because the rental I had issues with, I was in between jobs at this point. The rent is very reasonable here, unbelievably reasonable, so that helps you get on track. Savings, it helps you get on track. And vehicle, I had a car payment, I don't anymore, so that in a way that helped me as well. So it affords you to be able to move forward. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody at Hope Village. Everybody has been not just Hope Village, but the counselors, Charlie, the manager here, Cindy, just everybody that I've run into. They're diversifying, people are moving around, they're doing different jobs, which is amazing too, because they're growing so much. So I do definitely appreciate everyone for their support and their help through the process. And it's a blessing, a huge blessing for everyone that needs help. So I definitely appreciate that. For sure.
Hi.
Welcome back to our Hope Village 3rd annual celebration. This year, because of COVID, we're going digital. So we're here socially distanced. Some of our staff and participants are here, and we have the Peace Pole auction going on online. But we have this live stream for you, and we wanted to share. We already heard from Chad and talked about Rogue Retreat and what it's doing and the difference that Hope Village makes in the community. But let's talk about the participants, and let's talk about what we track for the outcomes.
Okay. Yeah. We have a database, among other things, Service Point, that the whole county uses for all of their participants. And basically, we track the basic demographics like ages and gender and race, ethnicity, those kinds of things. But there's also, we track, like when they come into whichever project that we do, we know how much money they might be, if they have a salary or if they have income. All of that kind of stuff. And as we progress through Rogue Retreat and programs, we can track whether the income got higher, and a lot of other stuff. Disabilities, we track what disabilities, that kind of thing. And one of the big things is called the SSOM, self-sufficiency matrix, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody gets, when they first come into one of our programs, they get an initial that asks different questions on different categories. And then at the 1 month, at 3 months, at 6 months, continuing through the programs, we do reassessments, and they, so we can track, hey, is everything improvement? Is our secret sauce, as we call it, working and everything like that? So there's a lot of things we track. But we can run reports on that for our funders and that kind of thing. So it's a database. That's mostly what I do is input into the database, and then we can run reports out of that and make sure it's accurate and all that kind of thing.
So you do the fun stuff.
Yeah, it is sort of fun. Detective work,
yeah.
But
so I think now we're going to have Susan come on, and
Great.
She's going to talk a little bit more about why we do what we do with tracking and keeping track of everything that we do.
It's a little too big, but that's okay.
So Susan, we heard why we track all of this stuff. Well, we heard what we track. Now let's talk about why. Why is all this important?
Yeah. So one of the most important things about our program and what makes it really successful is that we call it our secret sauce. So it's that case management and peer support, so that a person, when they come into our program, maybe they don't really have a lot of confidence in their ability to even maintain their own housing. But we will look at different areas such as education, job, income, of course their housing. We look at substance use disorders. We look at whether they have insurance, health insurance or not, or dental insurance, and we can help them to get all those things. Sometimes it starts just with a basic, they don't have their ID or they don't have their birth certificate. So that's what our case management helps to do. But while we're doing that, we're also talking to that person and encouraging them. And why we do that is so that we can build people up to where they can be self-sufficient and know that they can do these things on their own. So we say that we give them a hand up and not a hand out. And I think that's a distinctive difference in our program. And I think that's why we do it, because we want to see people, built up in their life. We want to see that going on.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we have to track all this information so that we can tell
exactly
what's happening, and so that we can be a better organization. Because at the end of the day, if we're not serving people and we're not helping people get themselves to better situations, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And our mission statement is creating opportunities for the homeless to have hope. And sometimes it's hard to measure hope, but the reason we track all these numbers is because it tells a story. And the story that it tells is that we are providing hope. People are coming up from where they were in the street and maybe caught up in their substance use disorder, and they are getting clean and sober, and they are finding a place in the community. They're learning to live in community, and that's what, sorry, this is too loose. And that's what Hope Village is all about, right? It's that sense of community, and Oh, sorry. And learning to, learning to be a good neighbor. Those are things that sometimes are hard to measure, but we see the success when people go out of our program and into the community, and we see them start getting jobs in places like where they're giving back as well. So
Absolutely.
it's just really fun to be a part of. So, yeah.
So we're going to show you the peace poles one more time, the slideshow that we put together of those, and then we're going to come back and talk to Scotty, who lives here at Hope Village. He's not a participant, but he's kind of like a camp host for us here, and his experience working with our residents here. So we're back to that.
Hi, this is Chad McComas back here at our Hope Village celebration. 3 years old. I mean, it's an amazing organization we've got here. And I've got Scotty standing next to me. No, we did not hire a leprechaun, but Scotty is our camp host here at Hope Village. And I can't remember how long you've been with us, Scotty.
Well, I've been here a year, September.
So your job is you're kind of our presence here at night and on weekends. So you have your own fifth wheel here,
Right.
your own home, and you got your dogs with you, and so you live here. What do you notice about Hope Village?
Actually, I noticed that there's a lot of amazing people here.
They really are.
I mean, they went from being out on the street to actually getting in here and be able to start their life over. And I've been really fortunate to be able to help them as I can.
You know, when you say, Scotty, a lot of amazing people, I think sometimes the public thinks a homeless person is, you know, a bum or
No.
they're a terrible person. But we found there's really some amazing people.
They are amazing here.
and
amazing.
And they want to put their lives back.
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh yes.
Do they help you a lot around here?
Oh, they really do. You know, if they need help or if I need help, it's kind of like a back and forth ordeal.
Yeah. And you know, we got these poles behind
Yeah.
us that are in
Oh,
auction
man,
right now.
just amazing.
I was blown away by
Yes.
their artistic skill.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and I found some people pretty proud of what they were able to produce, which is pretty cool.
And I was kind of involved in that too, where you know, a lot of them they're like asking questions about this and that, and it's like, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And I've even helped them get started with a color of paint or the right kind of brush or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've been here long enough to see people come and go, and you've seen a lot of go, and that always hurts when they leave.
Yeah, it does.
Because you really get to be close
Right.
to these people,
Right.
don't you?
But I see it this way is they've been here and now they're moving on to another part of their life.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we're going to be opening up another village up in Grants Pass called Foundry Village,
Right.
and we're going to need a camp host there. And we're also going to be opening up one here in Medford called Hart Village. We're going to need a camp host there.
Right.
So if there's anybody out there that is maybe at the point where they're in retirement and they don't need a house somewhere and they can
Right.
live well in an RV and be happy, would this be a good job to encourage
Yes,
them?
it would. Yes, it would.
You know?
I've enjoyed being here. Really enjoyed it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what we do without you. Without Scotty, there is no Hope Village. But I think it's true for all of our staff.
Yeah.
You know, everybody works so close together. You've got a maintenance staff that's here. You've got our 2 case managers here. And it's just cool to watch what happens.
Yeah, it really is. It
All
really
right. Any last words for anybody?
is. Just that Hope Village has been the best thing that I've ever seen in this valley in the last 45 years.
Wow. So I owe you 20 for saying that, right? Anyway, thank you so much for that, Scotty. I really
Yeah.
do appreciate it.
Yeah.
So let's do a little talking about who made Hope Village possible. Can we do that? And maybe Chris, you can come back in here and join us. Would that be good? And let's see where we go from that. Thanks, Scotty. I really do appreciate it. I think Chris has got to take your headset. But, you know, one of the things I was thinking about this morning, and Chris, I'm glad you're back on here. You know, everybody can say, oh, thank you, Chad, for what you've done. But, you know, it's not me. I look back on when we had this concept. There was a lady that worked for us named Heather. And Heather had this dream of a village, and she pushed it. We got St. Vincent on board. We got a steering committee of some amazing people. Sat around every week talking about how we're going to make this happen, where we're going to get the money. We have Matt Vorderstrass, who is our development director, and he helped us raise money. I mean, it just came from everywhere. We had so many different churches get involved here. I can't begin to tell you all the different churches that helped us out. Some brought people down to help work here. Some others just made donations. We had businesses that helped us. Banks, insurance people. We had foundations that stepped up. The Oregon State gave us money to help build the housing at the Oregon State level, gave us money. And then we had just so many people, just private donors give us money. In fact, I was thinking back to that thing we had with Joe at the beginning, and he lived over here at number 24, I think it was, or 25. And I looked on the wall, and there's every house has this thing about who sponsored this house and who bought it. And that's a big deal.
Absolutely, it's so important that the community made this happen. It wasn't you, or it wasn't Rogue Retreat even. It was the community, and it was everyone coming together and believing that this was an important thing for the community and that this would help.
Yeah, and we just never want to take that for granted about how much the community gave. In fact, Chris, we're going to be working on something where we're going to go to each house and we're going to have the people living there currently talk about how much that house means to them, because somebody had to sponsor that house. You know, I look right behind you over here, and it says the Coquille Tribal Community sponsored that house. Over here, there's 2 sponsored by Rotary. Over here, there's one by one of our board members. He and his wife sponsored one. So they had to shell out money and to believe that this house is going to help somebody, and it's now paying dividends on and on and on.
Yeah, it's amazing how these are going to be here for a long time. It's not just one person that it's helping.
That's right.
It's multiple people living in there and transitioning out and getting into better situations.
Yeah, so those 2 testimonies we had earlier, they stayed in a house somebody sponsored. And I wish that the sponsor could know what their generosity did for those people. Gave them that foot they needed to get up in life again. And now they're moving on, and they don't need this place anymore. Now somebody else is in that house, and that's the way it should be. And, you know, we're going to be coming back to the public soon. We're almost ready to start breaking ground at Hart Village, which is this thing I mentioned a couple of times with the Addiction Recovery Center. But we're going to have 12 little houses over there, and they need to be sponsored. So there's 12 people that could say, hey, I want to sponsor this house, or somebody can sponsor the kitchen, or somebody can sponsor the community room. Those are all important things. And so we just keep moving forward with the generosity of our community.
Absolutely. And one of those things that's kind of pivoting but still generous is the pallet shelters that we had donated at the campground. We had 10 pallet shelters donated by the company that makes them, Pallet Shelter, and we have that time lapse to show. of those being set up, but those are basically tiny houses that can be set up in less than an hour.
Yeah, are we going to show that now?
Yeah, we can show it whenever.
Are we ready? Let's do it.
So welcome back. You saw the pallet shelters getting assembled, and
They're pretty amazing.
they are, and it really changes the campground. It makes it from people being in tents to people having insulated walls around them, and those pallet shelters can even be hooked up to electricity, and they have built-in heaters, and they're an amazing tool that we can use.
They are. And you know, when Pallet said they're going to give us 10, we had no idea what that really meant. When they end up showing up here, they're worth $6,800 a piece. So they gave us almost $70,000 worth of structures. But they knew what they were doing because now we're addicted. So now we want to do the whole campground on those pallet structures. So we need 30 or 40 more of them. But we've actually had 4 already sponsored, and we're looking for more. In fact, if we can get some sponsors in the next week or so, at about $7,000 a piece, we could have more people get in them. Right now we're putting our seniors in them and people that have any kind of a health issue in them. I was in the campground last night, and there's a lady that is in one of those, and she's going to have a hip replacement done soon, so she can hardly walk. She's got her own little spot. She can lock the front door. It's pretty amazing. So if anybody's interested in that, they could call our office and connect with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember our phone number off the top of your head?
Yes, it's 541-499-0880. 499-0880. Hey, before we check out today, could we bring in somebody that lives here?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe there's a lady over here that it's her birthday today, so maybe we can go get her.
Yeah, so let's show the slideshow of the peace poles. I know you're.
Let's do it.
I can't imagine you're sick of seeing them because they're just amazing.
Well, and that's
piece
how we
of
can
art.
raise funds for the Kelly Shelter, which
Exactly.
is what we want to do.
Exactly. So we'll show that video again, and then we'll be back with a current participant. So we'll be back right after this.
welcome back, by the way. We're just going to be closing up what it's like to be at Hope Village on our 3rd anniversary, and you've been seeing people walk behind you. You've got people dressed up. People are just having a good time. They just had a cakewalk over here. I don't know if they're going to share with us. I hope they are. And then they have karaoke going on over here. But I wanted to get a current resident of Hope Village and what it means to her to be able to have her own little house. It's pretty cool to have your locking front door.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's just like having your own little home. Essentially coming from the Kelly shelter and being with in one big room with 50 some other people. And then coming into a step higher and kind of like graduating into Hope Village is what it felt like. Having my own space and just having a little bit more freedom and a little more responsibility, having to pay rent and it's so doable. It's really like between your case management and just having a place to call your own, it can be really healing, and it's a great first step into getting into.
So how are the other people here? Are they pretty easy to work with? Oh,
super easy to work with. The staff is wonderful, always has been. Everybody works together. Definitely all of the residents, we all work together and making it, a livable
It feels
place.
like community.
Yeah, it really is. I always call it our little gated community because it really is.
It really is. And gated is a good word.
Yeah.
I bring tours here a lot from people from other cities and leaders from other counties and even other states. And one thing they always comment, they think, man, it's so clean. And they always think I've gone through it just before they showed up to clean it up. But
it's like this all the time.
Yeah.
We all have chores. We all have specific things that we're all attending to all day long. And when we're all on board, it's easy to keep it cleaned up like this, and when one of us can't be there, another one picks up the pace.
Yeah,
so.
I've seen that. And people start getting jobs, so other people pitch in and fill in behind the scenes. I think everybody has to do at least one gate watch a week.
Yeah, we have gate watch. If you're working, it is limited to one gate watch a week, and if you can't do the shift, you find people, that, hey, if I give you $10, will you do my gate watch, so...
But that's cool. And, I love, and we're going to close off with this, but these peace poles that people made, you made 2 of them, right?
I did.
So I see the
purple one right here, and then another one with flowers.
And you've got some gold or something going around that purple one.
It's actually, I call it a picture pole because you can actually hook pictures to it.
Hang pictures to it? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then the blue one with the flowers. I know a lady who works for me, she keeps saying she wishes she could get that one.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yep. It was really fun to do. It was a cool little experiment, and they're fun,
They are fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that they all sell. Not only will that raise money for the Kelly Shelter, but you get a little bit back in your pocket, which
it
is
would
really
be
cool.
Wonderful. Yeah.
That would be a
we're
great
all
thing.
trying to get into our next step of housing, so we're all saving for that. And I just know that all of this is so important to our, the next step of life for all of us.
Yeah, and you guys are all amazing. And I thank you for coming on this. I know that was a little scary, but
yeah, no, it's okay.
It didn't hurt too
it's
bad,
all right.
did it?
Nope, I'm still alive.
All right.
Heart's still beating. We're
Thank
good.
you.
Yep.
So we're going to say to everybody that's been watching this, and we'll watch it in the future, thank you so much for helping make Hope Village a reality. 3 years ago, it was kind of a dream. Now it's a reality, and we'll be back next Halloween, and we'll have our 4th birthday.
Yep.
But between now and then, of course, you won't be here because you'll have your own place
I will
somewhere.
be gone,
But
yes.
that's the way it's supposed to work. And so
Yes.
thank you so much. If you need to tune in with us, you can check with our office. It's 541-499-0880, and we love to do tours. So just call and ask for who is in charge of tours. Right now it's Rowena. We'll get you on a tour.
Number 2.